Hi guys, this video is about how to sew a fly zipper slash J-stitch. I have one side of my pant, the other side, and I have my fly extension already prepared. So I already went ahead and sewed my fly facing to my pant. I'm going to do a top stitch on this edge, and then I am going to fold it over and place my zipper with the front of the zipper facing the front of my fly facing. Something to remember that when you're sewing your fly facing, make sure you end a quarter of an inch before the end of the fly facing. The same thing applies to the fly extension. So I'm done with this, and I can go ahead and fold it over. Now I'm taking my zipper. First, I'm going to indicate where my fly facing ends on the front, which is over here. And then I'm measuring from the top, from the center front line, at the waist. I am going to measure out 1 1/8 and place a mark there. And at the bottom, I'm going to measure 1 inch and place a mark there. The measurement from my center front waist to where my zipper ends is 6.5. So my zipper should be 6 inches long. The 1/2 inch at the top is for where my zipper tail will tuck into my waistband. So I'm measuring my zipper, and I notice it is more than 6 inches long. So at that point where my zipper should end, I'm simply going to cut it off a little bit. Let me make sure that I have my point. Okay. So I'm going to cut it off exactly at that place and do multiple stitches over that seam about 1/4 inch before it ends, or 1/2 inch. To make sure that my zipper doesn't come undone. That's done. The next step is taking my front zipper, making sure that my teeth are laying face down on my fly facing. I am also going to switch my presser foot to my zipper foot, the really skinny foot. Now I'm going to attach my zipper to my fly facing, making sure that the face of my zipper is face down on my fly facing, and that I am sewing 1/4 inch seam allowance on the edge of my zipper, and that my zipper is matching these markings on my garment. I can put a couple pins in there to help stabilize this, just to make sure that I don't move past where I want to move. And I will start stitching. the zipper is already forming, and I just have a 1/4 inch there. To make sure that this is nice and fast, like put in place well, you can do another stitch going over it just to make sure that it is nice and sturdy. Next, I will grab my fly extension, making a mark. Now I'm simply going to place a 1/4 inch mark at the end of my fly extension to make sure I don't sew past there. I'm going to grab the other side of my pant, and at the top of my pant where my fly extension is going to be attached to my pant, I am going to have a mark at the top for a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and towards the part where my zipper will end, I place another mark, and this is going to be 3/8 away from the edge. This is going to help me in making sure that I finish my pant nice and neat. So make sure you put those markings on. I'm going to do the same thing on my fly extension on both sides because I'm not sure what seam I will see when I am sewing. So 1/2 inch at the top, at the bottom, same thing, 1/2 inch at the top, 3/8 towards the bottom, and a little 1/4 inch mark to tell me to stop. Next, I am grabbing my front pant with my zipper, and then I'm going to make sure that my zipper ends exactly where my front notch ends, right there. And then I am pinning my notch ends here. This is where my zipper should end. And then I'm going to take my fly extension, basically sandwiching my zipper in between my fly extension and my front pant, making sure that the notches align and that everything is good. So I can see the markings for the 1/2 inch here and the 3/8 here. I am done attaching my fly to my front pant, and I also have my fly facing attached to my front. My zipper, of course, is stuck in between the both of them. This is what it looks like, and then my fly is properly folded. This is what it would look like. Now I'm going to sew at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, basically from my back waist through to my front zipper, where the notch is for on my fly extension and my front pant, telling me that that's where the zipper ends. I'm going to make sure that my zipper and my fly extension are all out of the way, so that everything can connect nice and smooth, basically to this notch where my zipper ends. I might actually go a little bit further up just to make sure that everything is nice and secure. So maybe a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm making sure that my fly extension and my fly facing, everything is nice and neat, making sure that my seams match. So this is my seam. going to indicate where this needs to end, and I'm also making sure that my fly facing fly extension are all out of the way, and the only thing here is my front pant. I'm going to sew at a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way through to 1/4 inch after my notch ends. Going to draw my J-stitch on my fabric. If you have your stitch templates, which is basically your fly facing without the seam allowance on the center front and on the side, but still with the seam allowance at the waist, you simply place it over and trace around it. Marker is erasable. When I press, all of this is going to be gone. So I'm cleaning my fly extension away because I do not want to sew that down. And I am pinning my fly facing to my front pant to make sure that I catch everything I need to catch, making sure that my pin head is away from the path my presser foot is going to go on. On here, and I'm still using my narrow presser foot, making sure that my seams are open on the inside. Complete this, I am going to take my fly extension, fold it over, and simply sew all the way from here through to there, making sure that I'm catching my fly facing. Making sure that I can see my fly facing, I'm simply going to sew go. I finished my pant. Open this up, close this up. One more step to make sure that my zipper and my fly facing go smoothly into my waistband. I'm going to do a basting stitch just at the top, making sure that I'm not catching my fly extension and making sure that I'm catching the top of my zipper. A basting stitch that's 1/4 inch seam allowance away from the top. And I'm done with my fly. This is the fly. That's a little steam mark.